Bianco, as he does each Monday during the season. Coach, always appreciate your time. Tough weekend. You on Thursday night, it's a 10-run rule loss. Bounce back and play, I thought, a really entertaining and made some big plays on Friday in Game 2 of the series, and then couldn't get it done on Saturday, especially going back to that Friday night game. Did you see anything with your guys? I mean, it felt like that was just kind of two teams that traded punches for 9 innings on Friday night.
No, you're exactly right, and we played well and hung in there, and you're exactly right. For the ones that didn't see the game, one that we had the lead and then gave it up, and then took the lead again. It just kind of went back and forth, and we just hung in there. Similar to the Saturday game a couple weeks ago against Mississippi State, where I'm sure it was an entertaining game, but one of those games where we hung in there and were able to pull it out, and that's really the message is we have to be able to do that more often, in all phases, in all phases of the game, from pitching to hitting to defense, to hang in there and just play better.
The win on Friday night really kind of set the stage for a big one on Saturday. And you take an early lead, and then Alabama ties it up with a solo home run. And it's just, it's a 1-1 game going into the 6th inning, and then just kind of unable to finish it off. And part of that was because of what Alabama did on the mound. So maybe that's where I should ask, what was it about Zane Adams, the lefty freshman that they threw on Saturday, that made it so difficult on your guys at the plate?
Yeah, I just think it was a good mix, and one of the things I think you want to give credit where credit's due, and I don't want to take anything away from Adams, and he pitched really well. But it was just a mix of 3 pitches, and unfortunately, it wasn't a very good day for us at the plate, and that's again, what I just said a few minutes ago is, we have too many days like that, have too many days where. We don't do enough offensively. In that game that particularly that you're talking about, we missed 2 fly balls. One, from a guy in Jackson Ross that hasn't played much outfield. We put him in the outfield, and he's done okay. And lost the ball in the sun, cost us a couple runs, and a 20-mile-an-hour crosswind, and Ethan Groff misplays a ball in the wind and blows away from him, and he misses a ball, and that costs a couple runs for sure. And so, there's just too many of those, mistakes and or, lack of opportunities, to produce offensively and sometimes on the mound as well.
Mike, one of the things kind of in your entire time at Ole Miss is you've been consistent defensively. At times you've had great defensive teams. At times they've been average, but it was never kind of fall off. This year's team has struggled defensively. Is there anything in particular that you point to that has caused that to be the case?
No, I wish I had that answer, and I know these are all good questions, but one way we're searching, and some of those plays, we missed 4 fly balls this weekend where they're very catchable balls that we don't make, and some of them are. Just bad fortune, and maybe a guy that doesn't play the outfield much, loses one in the sun. But, some of them are, plays that, have to be made and aren't being made for one reason or another. Sometimes it's just bad fortune, like maybe on, I guess it was Friday night, might have been Thursday, where, it was at dusk and it's a tough sky, and, it's, we're human, and Groff loses one, just in the kind of the dusk sky where, it happens, once a night, across the country, but it happened that night to us. And so some of that is, bad fortune, and some of it, I think, is, guys just, putting pressure on themselves and not being able to make the play. And, that's not a very good excuse, but, sometimes I think that's really the answer. Unfortunately. And so, I think we're better than we are defensively. Are we a great defense? I think that would be a stretch right now to try to convince anybody that. But I think we're better defensively than we've played, and unfortunately we haven't played better than that.
You said a second ago that you're searching, and obviously nobody wants to figure it out more than you do, but I guess the truth of the matter is you haven't had many moments like this in the time that you've been at Ole Miss, where you're at this point of the season and you're just trying to kind of fight to get to the postseason. So What does that look like for you? Because I know it's got to be frustrating. I mean, you know what you got to do to win games, and it's, pitch well and play good defense and come up with timely hits and all those things. So what does that mean for you and your staff in terms of trying to pull it together and play as well as you can over these final 3 weeks of the regular season?
Well, I don't think there's a one answer that fits all of that. I mean, ultimately, yeah, it's my responsibility, but it's on all of us. It's on all the coaches and everybody that touches the program. It's on the players as well. I mean, this is our record, right? I mean, this is who we are. We all wear the uniform, and that was, again, one of the messages at the end of Saturday's game was, we can't expect to compete in this league if we don't play like we did on Saturday. We got to play more like we did on Friday. That doesn't guarantee you a win, but it gives you the best opportunity. The good news is that we have those games, and we seem to have them at least once a weekend, where we play and look like we can do this and can compete and win some games. And seems like in all three phases, we look very competitive and look like we can get it done. We got to be more consistent. We can't have 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3. You got to have 3 out of 3 because again, there's no guarantee that just because you play well, you're going to win either. So it's on all of us, and we continue. That's the challenge that we've talked about. This is what we do as coaches. Our job is to figure it out. Our job is to press the right buttons, and so to speak, and to continue to maneuver things, continue to coach guys to get them to be better. But it's on all of us for sure.
How do you keep your guys from allowing disappointment or frustration to keep in so that they're locked in on, everything that they've got to try and get it done? And, hey, there's a finite amount of games that you've got and a finite amount of time you've got, and forget about all the other stuff.
Well, I said that to you last week. I mean, they know what needs to be done, but to continue to coach and remind that, the answer, and people have heard, the process, right? But really the process is being in the moment, right? Trying to take care and control the things that you can control and do the things that you need to do to be successful or lends itself to being successful or whatever that is. If that's hitting, if that's pitching, if that's defense, if that's alignment, if that's preparation, all those types of things that you can control and try to block out all the other things that you keep asking about. And I say this because we're friends and I know you, but all the things that you guys want to talk about all day long that really they're not going to make anybody a better hitter or make anybody a better pitcher. You got to do the things that are going to help you succeed in those specific skills and areas, and that's, I think, to continue to remind them that, to continue to stay in the moment, continue to work hard, believe in one another, and again, we like this team. We that's a good team. We just haven't played well enough, and hopefully we're going to play better this week, and in the last few weeks that remaining. You
decided what you're going to do on the mound on Wednesday night against Mississippi State?
Yeah, Grayson Saunier will start, and pitched well last week, on the Tuesday, and again try to get him back to where we think he's where we've seen him and what he's capable of doing. But another big night down in Pearl against our arch rival. So I know he's looking forward to it.
Always fun down there, Mike. Thanks so much as always for your time.
Thanks, Richard.
Mike Bianco, head baseball coach at Ole Miss, joining us on the Farm Bureau guest line. Check out favorites.com and go with the home team, Mississippi Farm Bureau. So the Rebels dropped 2 of 3 this weekend to